How make confidence in speaking. Elara understood English perfectly, or so she thought, when reading articles or watching films. The words made sense, the grammar clicked, and comprehension was rarely an issue for her. However, a deep-seated frustration gnawed at her quiet confidence every single day. Her mind felt like a locked library when it came to actual conversation. "I understand English but I can't speak well," she often whispered to herself in moments of quiet despair. This common lament became her personal mantra, a constant reminder of her linguistic barrier. It wasn't about knowledge, it was about the terrifying leap from passive understanding to active, fluent expression. The words simply vanished. One afternoon, a foreign tourist approached her, clearly lost, seeking directions to the city's famous landmark. Elara knew the way, the route was etched in her memory. Yet, the words choked in her throat, a wave of paralyzing shyness washing over her. She stammered, pointed vaguely, and the tourist walked away, still confused. This incident was a turning point, a clear, unmistakable sign that her silent understanding was insufficient. She yearned to connect, to help, to truly engage with the world beyond her native tongue. This pervasive inability to communicate verbally felt like a personal failure, limiting her potential interactions drastically. That evening, Elara sat at her computer, a determined glint in her eyes, embarking on a quest. Her search history began to fill with desperate queries, seeking answers to her linguistic conundrum. She needed practical, actionable advice, not just abstract theories about language acquisition. The Internet held the key, she hoped earnestly. Her first search was direct, targeting her core issue: how make confidence in speaking. Numerous articles popped up, offering various tips and tricks. She scrolled through them, absorbing information, feeling a flicker of hope ignite within her. Confidence, she realized, wasn't something magically bestowed upon you. The articles consistently emphasized one crucial element: practice, relentless and consistent practice. This led her to another vital search: why you should practice speaking. The answers reinforced the idea that speaking is a skill, much like playing an instrument or riding a bicycle, requiring constant repetition. She learned that making mistakes was not a sign of failure but an essential part of the learning process. Each misstep provided a valuable lesson, a chance to refine her pronunciation and grammar. Perfection was an unrealistic goal, progress was the true objective she needed to aim for. Elara then shifted her focus to input, recognizing its critical role in output. Her next query was, how to improve your listening skills. She discovered active listening techniques, urging her to pay close attention to intonation, rhythm, and common phrases used by native speakers. This felt like a revelation. She began watching English movies and TV shows without subtitles, gradually at first, then pushing herself more. Podcasts became her constant companions during commutes, immersing her in authentic conversations. She even tried transcribing short audio clips, forcing her brain to process every single sound carefully. Vocabulary was another hurdle. She understood many words passively, but retrieving them for active use was difficult. This prompted her search for how to remember words. Flashcards, spaced repetition systems, and creating vivid mental associations were among the methods suggested by various language experts. Elara started using an app for spaced repetition, diligently reviewing new words daily. She created sentences with fresh vocabulary, trying to integrate them into her thoughts and potential conversations. Associating words with images or personal experiences proved incredibly effective for long-term retention. Her research also highlighted another fundamental pillar of language learning: why reading is important. Reading provided exposure to diverse sentence structures, rich vocabulary, and different writing styles, solidifying her grammatical understanding beyond rote memorization. It truly broadened her linguistic horizons. She started with simplified graded readers, gradually progressing to authentic English novels and online articles. Reading aloud, even to herself, helped connect the written word with spoken pronunciation, building muscle memory. It was a slower process than she initially anticipated, but immensely rewarding for her. The biggest challenge remained: how to speak with people. The fear of judgment, of sounding foolish, had always held her back. The articles advised starting small, perhaps talking to herself, or recording her voice, before attempting real-life interactions with others. This step felt monumental. She looked for online language exchange partners, individuals also eager to practice their English skills. These low-stakes conversations provided a safe environment to experiment with new phrases and pronunciation without the pressure of a real-life scenario. Slowly, her anxiety began to dissipate into thin air. Elara realized a structured approach was essential, not just random practice. She drafted an English study plan for talking, meticulously outlining daily goals. This plan included dedicated time for listening, reading, vocabulary review, and crucially, actual speaking practice sessions, even if alone. Her plan involved 30 minutes of listening to podcasts, 30 minutes of reading a book, 15 minutes of vocabulary review, and 15 to 20 minutes of speaking practice daily. She dedicated 1 hour weekly to an online conversation group. Consistency became her unwavering guide and her steadfast companion. She also began consciously observing how people speak English in everyday situations. She paid attention to colloquialisms, common idioms, and the natural flow of conversation among native speakers. This sociological aspect of language learning proved surprisingly insightful for her understanding. Elara started mimicking phrases and intonations she heard, practicing them in front of a mirror. This technique, though seemingly odd, helped her internalize natural speech rhythms and improve her accent subtly. She felt a connection forming between her ears and her vocal cords. During her journey, she stumbled upon arguments like, "why you should not learn English," often citing the difficulty or the perception that one's native language is sufficient. Initially, these thoughts sowed seeds of doubt in her mind, momentarily shaking her resolve and dedication. However, Elara quickly recognized these arguments as limiting beliefs, designed to keep people within their comfort zones. She countered them with the immense benefits she was already experiencing: greater confidence, broader horizons, and potential new friendships emerging from her efforts. She understood that language learning was a marathon, not a sprint, requiring continuous effort and unwavering patience. There would be days of frustration, moments of feeling stagnant, but persistence was the key to breaking through plateaus. Quitting was simply not an option for her. Gradually, imperceptibly at first, small victories began to accumulate. She managed to order coffee confidently without hesitation. She asked for directions from a stranger and actually understood the reply clearly. These tiny successes fueled her motivation, pushing her forward relentlessly. One sunny morning, while waiting for her bus, an elderly woman next to her commented on the beautiful weather. Instinctively, Elara responded in English, elaborating on the clear blue sky and the pleasant breeze. The conversation flowed naturally for several minutes, a genuine exchange. A warmth spread through Elara's chest. For the first time, she hadn't just understood, she had actively participated, articulating her thoughts effortlessly. This moment was incredibly liberating, a tangible result of her consistent dedication and her persistent hard work. Each successful interaction, no matter how small, added another brick to her steadily growing wall of confidence. The fear of speaking slowly began to erode, replaced by a quiet assurance in her abilities. She started to enjoy the process of communication immensely. English was no longer a daunting obstacle, but a powerful tool connecting her to a wider world. She could express nuanced opinions, share personal stories, and understand different perspectives without difficulty. It opened doors she never knew existed before. Through her online language exchange groups, she formed genuine friendships with people from various countries. They discussed cultures, shared experiences, and practiced English together, creating a supportive global community. This was an unforeseen, wonderful benefit of her journey. Buoyed by her progress, Elara decided to join a local English conversation meetup group. The thought still made her nervous, but she pushed through the apprehension, remembering her commitment to practice speaking consistently. It was a new challenge she embraced. Her first meetup was exhilarating. She listened intently, absorbing the different accents and speech patterns. Slowly, she chimed in, starting with short comments, then gradually contributing more elaborate thoughts and opinions to the ongoing discussions. She realized that others were just as focused on expressing themselves as they were on judging her. This collective vulnerability created a supportive atmosphere, dispelling her long-held fears. Everyone was there to learn, not to criticize others. Elara learned to embrace her imperfect English, understanding that communication was more important than flawless grammar. Native speakers rarely used textbook-perfect sentences anyway, preferring natural, flowing conversation. This insight was incredibly freeing for her. One evening, during an online group call, someone told a joke in English, and Elara found herself laughing genuinely alongside everyone else. Understanding humor in a foreign language was a profound indicator of her improved listening skills and cultural comprehension. Her listening skills improved to the point where she could pick up on new idioms and slang, understanding their context and usage. She actively sought to incorporate these into her own speech, making her sound more natural and less robotic. Her initial English study plan for talking evolved organically. It wasn't just about structured learning anymore, but about integrating English seamlessly into her daily life. Reading diverse materials and listening to various media became second nature. Now, she sought opportunities to speak English every day, whether it was practicing with her reflection, narrating her thoughts aloud, or actively engaging in conversations with native speakers. The fear was gone, replaced by an eager desire. The leap from understanding English passively to articulating her thoughts actively was no longer an insurmountable chasm. It had become a well-trodden path, paved with countless hours of practice and persistent effort on her part. Elara often reflected on her journey, recognizing that consistency was the bedrock of her success. Skipping days or weeks would have stalled her progress, making the uphill battle even steeper and more daunting for her. Her increased confidence in speaking English spilled over into other areas of her life. She felt more assertive in her professional life, more adventurous in her travels, and generally more open to new experiences globally. English became more than just a language, it was a bridge, connecting her to people, cultures, and information she previously couldn't access directly. It truly enriched her life in countless, unexpected ways. Inspired by her transformation, Elara started sharing her story and tips with friends who expressed similar struggles. She encouraged them to embrace practice, listen actively, and remember words effectively. When someone brought up why you should not learn English, Elara now had personal anecdotes to powerfully counter those negative arguments. She demonstrated the tangible rewards and opened minds to possibilities. She understood that language learning was a continuous journey, not a destination. There would always be new words to learn, new nuances to grasp, and new cultural contexts to explore deeply. Elara learned to cherish the process itself, finding joy in the small daily improvements and the profound sense of accomplishment. The journey was as rewarding as the eventual fluency she achieved. Her advice for how make confidence in speaking became simple: just speak. Start small, accept mistakes, and consistent effort will build your courage over time. It was her personal mantra now. She frequently told others, "You learn to speak by speaking." Practice isn't just helpful, it's absolutely essential for true fluency and comfort with the language. There was no shortcut available. Listen actively, she would advise. Immerse yourself in authentic English, pay attention to context, and soon you'll understand not just words, but intentions and emotions. Listening was foundational. For vocabulary, she recommended, use them immediately. Create sentences, associate them with images, and review regularly. Words learned in isolation are easily forgotten. Active recall was important. Reading builds your passive knowledge, she'd say. It exposes you to correct grammar and diverse vocabulary, making your own speaking more articulate and nuanced over time. It provided depth. Find a safe space, Elara advised. Online groups, friendly meetups, or even talking to yourself. The more you interact, the more natural speaking becomes for you. Exposure was crucial. Her study plan became a template for others: balanced input and output, regular speaking practice, and a positive mindset. It was about consistent, mindful engagement with the language. She was living proof that, "I understand English but I can't speak well," was a temporary phase, not a permanent limitation. It could be overcome with the right strategies and unwavering dedication. Observe, don't just listen, she encouraged. Notice their pauses, their intonation, their use of filler words. It's about rhythm and flow, not just individual words. This holistic view helped. She concluded that learning English was not just about acquiring a skill, but about personal growth, breaking down barriers, and connecting with a global community. It was a transformative journey. The timid Elara who stammered when asked for directions was now a confident communicator, ready to embrace any conversation. Her voice, once silent, now resonated with purpose and clarity. The freedom she felt in expressing herself fluently was immeasurable. No longer trapped by her own linguistic limitations, she could articulate her thoughts and feelings without restraint. Her life had truly transformed, enriched by new experiences, new friendships, and a newfound sense of self-assurance. English had been the catalyst for this incredible personal evolution. Elara continued her language journey, always learning, always growing, but now with an unshakable belief in her ability to communicate effectively in English, confidently and clearly.